Alright guys, today I'm going to show you how to create chord progressions without learning any music theory. If you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We train over 1 million producers around the world, so I'm going to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Trippie Redd, Lil Baby, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, long list of other folks. Okay, so what I'm going to show you guys today is how to make chord progressions with numbers and nothing but counting. You don't need to know scales, you don't need to know intervals, you don't need to memorize what the flat third is, the third, the fifth, all that. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to use numbers, and I've created this system way back in 2014 called Chord Codes. Okay, so this is the foundation of everything I teach. It's called Chord Codes. So basically, I'll show you guys how crazy it is. I'm going to close my eyes, as you guys can see. I'm going to pick a random note. We just happen to land on C. And what I'll do is I'll count. So as long as you can count, you can create any chord that you like. So firstly, we're going to try the major chord. The major chord is 0, 4, 7. What does that mean? Wherever I land is the point of rest. So we call this 0 because there's no distance between the notes. Okay, so this is 0, our root note in this case. Now we're simply going to count up the keyboard note by note until we get to the next number. So it's 0, 4, 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Play all these notes together. It always gives you the major chord no matter where you are in the keyboard. Every chord has DNA. And the reason I teach this is because traditional music theory, they force you to memorize scales. Worse if they teach you off the clefs, okay, whether it's bass clef or treble clef or whatever. And they make you read sheet music and do all this excess stuff before you can even make your first chord. It's very confusing. And the problem with modern production is you can't translate it over to Serum, for example. I can't type in minor third into Serum. I can't type in the C major scale into Serum. I have to use numbers. So this is what it gets down to, is that everything to its root is numbers. And this is why I teach this, because we could bypass learning scales. We could bypass learning intervals. We could bypass learning all this complex music theory stuff. Now, do I teach that complex stuff? Yes. But as a beginner, I don't think that's necessary to teach people how to make chords right away. Let's get a little more advanced. So you might ask, what's the true difference between a minor and a major chord? It's really the middle number. So instead of 0, 4, 7, which is the major chord, we're going to make another chord, which is 0, 4, 7. Or excuse me, 0, 3, 7. I was trying to do too many things at once. 0, 3, 7. Okay, so 0 is your root note. Count up 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then 4, 5, 6, 7 gives you G. Okay, so all those notes together give you C minor. So the only difference between a major and a minor chord is this middle note here. And that's how we start to understand, oh, every chord has a unique DNA sequence. Okay, a diminished chord, I'll just kind of jump ahead to show you guys, is 0, 3, 6. So 0 is our root note. Count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a diminished chord. Now you may want to create an augmented chord. That's 0, 4, 8. So the root note is the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this is not a chord progression, but I'm showing you guys how to create those different chords. Okay, so every chord has a unique set of numbers. I can go deeper and deeper into it, but there's a free chord code chart at busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. You guys can sign up for free. And just go to busyworks.com/premium if you truly want to take your education to a different level. Like, I teach this stuff as the foundation, but it gets really complex. Okay, and I break it down step by step. So let's create something a little more exotic. Let's go down an octave here, and let's make a minor ninth chord. So a minor ninth chord is known for like jazz. Let me play a little chord progression so you guys get an idea. All right, so the magic of the minor ninth can really create a jazzy type of sound. So we're going to pick a root note. In this case, we're just going to work at C. So the minor ninth chord code is 0, 3, 7, 10, 14. That sounds like a lot, but I'm going to show you guys how to memorize that a lot faster. So 0 is the root note. Let's add 3, so it's 0, 3, 7, 10, 14. Again, you get a free chord code chart, so you don't have to memorize all this. You could download it straight to your phone. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Play all those notes together. You get a minor ninth chord no matter where you are. You could transpose this chord, you can move it around. So it will always create a minor ninth chord. Now let me show you guys the secret behind the secret here. So whenever I get friction, people are like, "That you're teaching people wrong." You guys got to read the comments on this video. I guarantee there's going to be a snob from the music theory community who was trained classically and they just think they know everything. It's just bound to happen. And they always go, "You're training people the wrong way. What are you doing? You're supposed to teach them scales first, then the clefs and the sheet music." I go, okay, if I'm supposed to teach somebody a scale and then teach them what are called scale degrees, to teach them what the tonic, the third, the perfect fifth, the seventh, and the ninth is, then what is a scale? And I ask them these questions and I say, oh, a scale is just a sequence of notes that somebody likes. So I can make a scale right now. Starting at C, I'll just make a scale using all the white notes. And I go, okay, these notes are really easy to play. That's my scale. It's a sequence of notes that I like. Different cultures have different scales. They're not always major and minor. Okay, and you could also omit notes. Okay, so a scale is just a sequence of notes that somebody chose to like in that specific order. That's just what a scale is. And then the next question I ask is, what is a scale made of? When I teach you guys numbers, for example, like 0, 3, 7, 10, 14, it's based on distance between the notes. Okay, so that's what makes it special. And you can build chords without memorizing a scale, knowing you can go out of key on purpose. Okay, this goes really deep. This goes really advanced as well, to where you can figure out chords that you played and reverse engineer. And so, you know, the next thing they'll say is, well, I'll ask them, what is a scale? Okay, so a scale is usually taught in whole steps and half steps. What is a whole step? A whole step is 2 notes away. This is a whole step. Okay, that's 2 notes away, 1, 2. So really, I just taught them 0, which is the root note, starting point, and then you count up 2 notes, 1, 2. It's the same thing as chord codes. It's just that they call it a whole step. Okay, so that's why I'm getting straight to what a chord is and not teaching you all this minutia about everything, because it confuses you more than it helps. So I want to get straight to what is a chord, and that's why my system is so powerful. We call it chord codes. Okay, so here we have the minor ninth. Now let me show you guys some more secrets here. Now this video was going to be basic, but I want to give you guys a little more secret. So the root note is the main star. Now what we can do is take the root note and go up 7 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In my teachings, I break all these things down like intervals and all this, but this is called an interval. In the old definition of a chord, it says 2 notes or more. So in my music theory magic course, I teach that chords are really 2 notes or more. When you have that perspective, you understand harmony way differently. Okay, so that's in an old kind of definition, not really as modern, but it explains so much. Okay. So the reason I say that is because 7 is the number that you guys need to know. So 0, 7. Why is this important? Because 7 notes away from the root note is called a perfect fifth. They always work together. They always harmonize. Okay, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, how do we go to the ninth? The ninth is really 7 notes above the perfect fifth. So we're going to add 7 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm going to show you guys even more magic. So I kind of went quickly over what a minor chord is versus a major chord. And the chord code is 0, 3, 7. So let's add the minor third. It's called 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this technically would be called a minor add 9 chord. How do I know that? I could break down the chord code. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. That's a minor third. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a minor triad. And then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's a ninth. So I know that this is a minor triad. Add the ninth chord extension, and this root note is C. So it's a C minor add 9 chord. And that's what you can learn once you understand these chord codes. So why is this magical? Is because let's say we wanted to create the 7th. I could take what's called the minor third and pull it up 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not that that note is, we need to memorize that distance. It's more so that the third and the 7th are always 7 notes away. And the perfect fifth and the ninth are always 7 notes away. the tonic and the perfect fifth are always 7 notes away. So once you kind of understand the importance of 7 in music, at least modern Western music, you'll understand this. So here we have the minor ninth chord, the full minor ninth chord. All right, so let's show you guys some application to give you some inspiration before I head out here. I'm gonna go a little more advanced here because now we're getting into more like actual music theory. Okay, but let's say you guys want to learn how to create chord progressions. You're like, okay, I know how to make a chord with chord codes, but what's the next chord? Okay, I'm going to give you guys an ironclad system that always works. So firstly, we need to map out what's called a scale. Now this does require a scale, and here's where we start to transition into actual music theory. So here's where I would say the last part of the video was like without the theory. Now we're getting into the more theory talk, but I just want to inspire you guys. So let's say we have C. It's just all the white notes starting from C. So now we're going to take all these notes, all the white notes here, and map those out. What we're going to do is create scale degrees. Scale degrees means we're going to take a note within the scale, and then we're going to make a chord with that note. Okay, so here we have the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and then back to the tonic. So if you're keeping up with the difference so far, it's that traditional music theory will teach you starting at scale degrees. And the reason why this is so convoluted is because first, you have to memorize a whole scale. Okay, I could teach with my eyes closed how to make chord codes. I land on a note. I don't even need to know what this note is. I just happen to keep landing on C. That's funny. And let's say I want to make a minor ninth chord. I'll go 0, 3, 7, 10, 14. So 0 is the root note. And I just count up the keyboard and add those notes in. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the first minor triad. 8, 9, 10. It's a minor 7. 11, 12, 13, 14. And now I have a C minor ninth chord just like that. I didn't need to memorize the notes in a scale. I didn't need to like figure out a bunch of stuff, and that gets straight to what a chord is. But now we're getting into more music theory and ease, so I just want to give more and more of a disclaimer here. So here we have what's called the first, or the tonal center, or the tonic. Then we're going to move into the second note within the scale called the second scale degree. E is the third scale degree because it's the third note in a scale. F is the fourth note. G is the fifth note, A is the sixth note, B is the seventh note, and then it repeats itself back to the tonic. Okay, now what I want to show you guys is when you guys are building chords, I know I'm getting a little advanced here, but let's start at C. This is the first scale degree. To create a triad or a chord, you skip the notes in this scale. So C, skip D, go to E, skip F, go to G. This creates the first chord called a triad, and that chord type is, let's count it out, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a major chord. So now you can start identifying chords, understanding that everything is made up of numbers. So the question is, where do you go from this chord? Okay, so a simple system, an ironclad system you guys could do is add 3 scale degrees. This is why I added like 7 disclaimers, because this technique requires scale degrees, not integers, okay? Not semitones, scale degrees. So if we're starting at the first, we're going to count up 3 scale degrees, 1, 2, 3, and let's add the note F. Now let's harmonize the note F, go to the F in the scale, and skip every other note in the scale. So skip G, go to A, skip B, go to C. That gives you the triad here. And that gives us F major. And then from F, we're going to count up 3 more scale degrees. 1, 2, 3, that gives us B. To make the chord at B, we're going to go to B in the scale, skip every other note in the scale. So B, skip C, go to D, skip E, go to F. That gives you a diminished chord. How do I know? Because the chord code is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I showed you guys that earlier. 0, 3, 6 always makes a diminished chord. Okay, now let's make the final chord here. We're just going to use we're going to use 4 simple chords here. We have the tonic, we have the plus 3 scale degrees, and we have plus 3 scale degrees. Now let's add 3 more. 1, 2, 3. We're going to land on E. And then we're going to skip every other note. So skip F, go to G, skip A, go to B. E, G, B makes this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which makes this a minor triad. So here's what it sounds like. Now this sounds too far away, so I'm going to pull it down an octave. And this sounds basic, not because of the notes, but more so because of the way this is voiced. So let's make it a more modern voicing, it's called. This is where, again, we're talking more advanced. See how it has a vibe and a soul now? Okay, so I know that middle ground was kind of like whatever, but that's what separates beginners from people who are more advanced, because they understand chord voicing, they understand sound selection, etc., etc. So I don't want to make this video 1,000 years long. Just want you guys to understand how deep these chord codes go. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/premium and look for Music Theory Essentials. If you guys really want to like get off to the races, start with Music Theory Essentials, focus on music theory in a day, and then after Music Theory Essentials, move to Music Theory Magic. That's going to give you guys that extra layer of interval knowledge. Then move into Melody Mastery. That's going to take you guys to the highest level that I have so far. All right, guys, subscribe if you're new. Go to busyworksbeats.com/premium. Peace.